athletes need to be able to perform at levels much higher than the average person, regardless of how fast they can run, how much weight they can lift, or how high they can jump. Their performance, among other things, is directly impacted by their level of hydration.
Dehydration is a physical state in which the body releases more fluids than it intakes, causing a fluid deficit. Dehydration can impact anybody that loses fluids without replacing the lost fluids. Why do we lose fluids? As we exercise, our core temperature starts to rise. In order to control this increase in temperature, our body attempts to cool itself through a process called evaporation. Evaporation is a process of sweat excreted from the surface of the skin. Dehydration decreases physiologic functions and an athlete's ability to perform at their highest level. Heat illness symptoms are common signs of dehydration, such as heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. Dehydration impacts all physiologic systems in our body. Our body has 4 methods of which it attempts to balance endogenous heat production created internally and exogenous heat accumulation through conduction, convection, evaporation, and radiation. Evaporation is the main heat dispersing method that our body uses while exercising. Evaporation rate has a direct effect on physiologic function and an athlete's performance. Water, an internal fluid, plays a key role in dehydration. All fluid compartments contribute to water deficit with dehydration. Our body experiences a thermal strain, which is an increase in core temperature when it's in a state of dehydration. Our body experiences a cardiovascular strain when it becomes dehydrated, resulting in increased heart rate, decreased stroke volume, and decreased cardiac output. Our muscle tissue experiences an increase in muscle temperature and increase in lactate levels when it's dehydrated.
It is very important to know what to do when you come across someone who's dehydrated. First, increase their fluid intake by having them take small sips of water or drinks containing carbohydrates and electrolytes. Second, try cooling the person down if there has been heat exposure or if they have an elevated temperature. You want to decrease their risk of heat illness by keeping them cool. Dehydration isn't only in athletes. Anyone can become dehydrated. So it is important to be aware of others, like coaches, parents, and even referees and game officials. They too can be at risk for dehydration. When it comes to recognizing dehydration, it is important to know the early signs and symptoms. These signs and symptoms include thirst, general discomfort, flushed skin, weariness, and cramps. Oh my god, I'm so thirsty, coach. Please, can we get water? I'm so uncomfortable. I feel weak. Cramps are killing me.
You want water on my time? This is my time. You go back out there and do your drills. When I'm thirsty, you can get some water.
When at greater water deficits, other signs and symptoms include dizziness, headache, vomiting, nausea, heat sensations on the head and neck, chills, decreased performance, and dyspnea, otherwise known as shortness of breath. Identifying all these early signs and symptoms can limit the onset or degree of an exertional heat illness.
Oh my god, I'm so thirsty, coach. So thirsty. So dizzy. I'm so dizzy. My head hurts. My head is so hot. And my ears, my neck, my stomach hurts. Oh my god.
If dehydration is not recognized soon enough, it can lead to more serious problems such as heat illness, and then further medical attention such as EMS would be needed.
Engine 41 responds to City Park Soccer Complex, Key 32 Bravo, EMS response for a possible environmental emergency.
Dispatch, Engine 41, shows him out.
No, she wasn't ready.
When treating an athlete for dehydration, have them drink water, but not excessively. This could lead to overhydration. Sometimes, the best fluid to drink after exercise to replace fluids that are lost may not always be water. This is where sport drinks come in handy. Including sodium in the rehydration beverage allows fluid volume to be better conserved and increases the drive to drink. Including carbohydrates in the rehydration solution may improve the rate of intestinal absorption of sodium in water. It is important to take precautions, especially during the hotter times of the year. Some ways you can do this include scheduling events during cooler times of the day or year, monitor environmental conditions, monitor for dehydration and exertional heat illness, always making sure athletes have access to fluids, encourage to match fluid intake with sweat losses. When possible, minimize exercise intensity. Exercise intensity is the largest contributor to dehydration. And educate athletes on the causes and effects of dehydration and how it can lead to more serious situations.
There was a time I used to look into my father's eyes. In a happy home, I was a king, I had a golden throne. Those days are gone, now the memories on the wall. I hear the songs from the places where I was born.